Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I hope all of you are fine and having good health. Today we have the topic that is vapor pressure. Mainly vapor pressure, it is the property of the liquids. Now, what does mean by the vapor pressure? As the name is showing, it is related to the vapors and it may be the vapor of having pressure. So how we can define that? Basically, the pressure that is exerted by the vapors of a liquid. The pressure exerted by vapors of liquid in equilibrium state. That pressure is known as the vapor pressure. In this picture, you can see that here we have the liquid particles, and these liquid particles are going to change into the vapor phase. As these vapors are having the pressure on the surface, this pressure is known as the vapor pressure. When the liquid changes into the vapors, this process is called as evaporation. After the process of evaporation, now these vapors are going to exert the pressure. This pressure we called it as the vapor pressure. So simple vapor pressure, the pressure exerted by the vapors of a liquid. Next we have kinetic energy of the molecules, how it is related to the vapor pressure. Basically, when we place any liquid in a container, and the container must be a closed container. When we keep the liquid in the closed container, we have just see that the molecules, when converted into the gas phase, they started to gather over the surface of the closed container, here like this. When there are a lot of molecules over there, then they started to exert the pressure over the container. So this pressure mainly we called it as the vapor pressure. Now how it is related to the kinetic energy? The molecules that are having high kinetic energy, they changes into the vapors easily because all the molecules not have the same kinetic energy. Just few molecules have high kinetic energy and they changes into the vapors phase easily. And when the vapors started to gather over the surface or the space above the container, then they produces the pressure, and that pressure we called it as the vapor pressure. Here some of the molecules strike back on the surface of the liquid and they lose their kinetic energy. They lose the kinetic energy. For example, if I'm going to draw here diagram for this, this is the closed container, and here we have the liquid particles. This is the liquid. Some are having high kinetic energy and some are having low kinetic energy and some are having average kinetic energy. Now some of them changes into the gas phase, or we can see that the vapors phase. When there is a closed container, then this will not leave the surface, rather than they started to stay or gathered over there and they exert some pressure. But some of them just strike back, they lose kinetic energy and changes into the liquid phase. When they changes into the liquid phase, now there is going to be happen mainly the two process. The first one in which the liquid changes into the vapors, and the second one in which the liquid is going to back vapors is going to back change into the liquid. So here we have two processes. The first one we have evaporation, and when vapors back changes into the liquid, this process we called it as the process of condensation. So these two processes are going to be happen when there is a vapor pressure exerted by the vapors of the liquid. Okay. In the next we have equilibrium during the vapor pressure. What type of equilibrium is gonna to be created when there is a vapor pressure? So here is the equilibrium state in this picture. You can see that the number of molecules that are going to leave the surface, then the some are coming back and changes into the liquid. So mainly when the liquid, for example, we have water in a closed container, it changes into the vapors, or we can see that into the gas. This process we called it as evaporation. And when it vapors changes back or recaptured by the liquid, they again changes into the liquid, and this process we called it as the condensation. So a time come when the process of evaporation becomes equal to the process of the condensation. That state is known as mainly the equilibrium state, that the number of molecules leaving the surface and changes into the gas phase is equal to the number of molecules that are going to change into the liquid phase back. This state we called it as the equilibrium state, and we can also have a look on the vapor pressure that is at the equilibrium state. The number of molecules leaving the surface and the number of molecules coming back to the liquid phase is equal. This state is called as the equilibrium state, and the process of evaporation becomes equal to the process of the condensation. So this is all about the today's lecture. And if you guys have any queries, you may ask me about that in the comment section. And in the next topic, we will discuss about the factors affecting the evaporation. That what are the main factors that are going to affect the vapor pressure of the liquid, whether it is going to be increase or whether it is going to be decrease. For that time, keep learning and have a good day. Allah Hafiz.